where you live. This is ABC 7 News.
We do have some good news to report. Water service has been restored to those folks who live here, but you can see there's still quite a mess left behind. As you can imagine, Browns Valley neighbors are thankful for Dan and his boss's work to save this neighborhood. They've actually set up a GoFundMe to reimburse them for their fuel, but they're refusing any kind of payback. It is a small protest, but you can see nonetheless there are 3 people here holding signs standing next to a mega bank. Colin Kaepernick certainly got the green light today to lead the team, but despite all the controversy surrounding his sideline protest, he says he's trying to focus on football. You really can feel the buzz here around the Fairmont Hotel this morning. A lot of security, as you mentioned, here on the street and underground in the garage. Security detail for former President Barack Obama's visit. And there is still some blue and yellow streamers left behind here on the street. Some debris left, the stage still partially up, but crews are working late tonight to get this city looking as good as fans are feeling. Chaos, tension, fighting. A rally planned by supporters of President Trump disintegrated into something resembling a war zone around Civic Center Park in Berkeley. No man, no wall. They faced off with critics of the president, a familiar scene like one that played out in early March. But this time, Berkeley police increased presence.
We're really against what Trump is doing to our country. Part of what he's doing to the country is what you see right here. He's polarizing it.
They believe in freedom of speech. They're libertarians, you know. They believe they shouldn't be attacked.
Passionate words escalated to physical fights. This supporter of President Trump walked into a crowd of protesters. First words, then blows exchanged. That man and others ended up in handcuffs.
Some say free speech, and there is some free speech issues. But on the other hand, most of them are very antagonistic.
Berkeley City Manager just approved an administrative rule banning things used as weapons, such as pepper spray, rocks, sticks, M80 explosives. But those rules clearly ignored. By afternoon, police responded to a stabbing on Shattuck Avenue.
I do not have any details on that particular stabbing, but I'm told they were transported to the hospital.
I think we should have the right to defend ourselves if they try to attack us.
With so much civil unrest, an empathy tent housed a small group offering space for both sides.
This is our stand for peace, you know, and for really kind of helping people to have a chance to feel heard.
Surprisingly, she says both sides say they want safety and for someone to listen, but apparently not willing to listen to each other. In addition to all the cameras today, police say there were lots of smartphones, so if you have any video, they want you to send it their way. Live in Berkeley, Lonni Rivera, ABC 7 News. The flames moved in fast and furious Sunday night in Napa.
There's a fire right behind the house.
And quickly began threatening dozens of homes in the Napa community of Browns Valley. 2 men immediately jumped into action.
That was all in the darkness.
Nearly a week later,
you can see the trees got scorched.
Dan Wynn showed us where his battle began.
I'm still like reliving it as I'm watching the videos.
The fight that night was against the Patrick Fire, their weapon, bulldozers.
This is right behind us, all in a wall of flame, and you don't have a lot of time to think. It's like, stop it now, or that whole neighborhood behind us was going to go.
As the heat and smoke intensified everywhere, CAL FIRE officials shifted to life-saving.
I asked them, where's the CAL FIRE dozers? And they said, all resources are being used right now.
With no help on the way, Dan and his boss, Eli, stepped up to protect their community, communicating by cell phone, as they use their bulldozers to dig those critical lines.
From where we're looking right here, goes down 4 miles, was completely all on fire at the exact same time.
There were several close calls, but adrenaline kicked in.
And what you don't notice, like by looking at this line, is how hot this was.
How hot was it?
Very hot.
Like hot.
My hair was singed.
You can see the boundary before the scorched hills. Those lines dug by bulldozers. They kept at it for 4 days. Dan, a former Marine, learned how to cut fire lines in the military.
This is the difference a dozer makes, and that's why they use them in these fires.
The winds may be calmer, but the fire danger is still a serious concern. Dan's on alert.
You can see behind us where we stopped it.
As you can imagine, Browns Valley neighbors are thankful for Dan and his boss's work to save this neighborhood. They've actually set up a GoFundMe to reimburse them for their fuel, but they're refusing any kind of payback. He says they'll likely pay it forward and give the money away. His payback? Seeing a community still standing, untouched by disastrous wildfires.
If that equipment wouldn't have been here, this line wouldn't have been here, and that fire would have been in that neighborhood.
In Napa, Lonni Rivera, ABC 7 News. That's right, Eric and Kristen. A lot of times people go on these tours and they don't often get to see one, but not the case today. An East Bay family came here to see one, and boy, did they get a real treat.
On the kitty cat?
You might call the Call family first-timers. It's their first time whale watching.
She has been obsessed with whales and dolphins since she was like 3, right?
I like seeing like wildlife.
Welcome aboard.
Seek and you shall find, and that is exactly what 6-year-old Ava experienced.
There's the whale, 3 o'clock.
Check out the view from the deck of the Kitty Cat boat. A humpback whale appeared within minutes of cruising on the San Francisco Bay. How cool is this?
Super cool.
Whale watching in the San Francisco Bay is amazing this season. In fact, it could be another 100 years before these majestic creatures come so close. But this rare occurrence has also come with some concern, as whales and boaters have repeatedly come in close contact, sometimes too close. Just last week, these photos captured a boat appearing to hit a whale. Officials urge watchers to do it the right way.
If you see a whale, slow your boat down. If it's within 100 yards, stop your boat, in which I mean by disengaging.
Passengers on this trip got more than they expected. This whale kept coming to the surface.
It's amazing. I mean, and to have the opportunity to like see them up close.
Maybe young Ava has beginner's luck. After 2 hours of whale watching, she's already negotiating the next trip.
Should we come back?
Yes.
When? How soon?
Tomorrow.
Hooked on whale watching, suffice it to say, she's not alone. In the San Francisco Bay, Lonni Rivera, ABC 7 News.